Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jeremiah, also known as DOWLord. Today we're going to take a look at Enslaved, Odyssey to the West, which is an action, third-person hack-and-slash platformer puzzle game, which is developed by Ninja Fury. It was released on PS3 and Xbox 360 on October 8, 2010, and October 25th on PC this fall. Now, Premium Edition consists of the main game, of course, a few unlockable skins when you complete the campaign, and also a DLC called Pixie's Perfect 10. Now, the game is based on a 400 years old Chinese book called Journey to the West. And Enslaved is set 150 years into the future, with civilization has been destroyed, and it's pretty much wasteland and where mechs roaming the world. You play as Monkey, a strong, agile, hand-to-hand combat man, and along for the trip is Trip. Yeah, she's a woman who has many computer skills and relies on her technical side there. She isn't as strong as Trip, so she has to focus on that. And the premise of the game is that Trip wants to return home, so she puts a slave headband on Monkey, which forces him to obey her, because if he doesn't, or if she dies, then he dies. Of course, they do not like each other in the beginning, but the relationship grows throughout the game, and nothing seems forced. Everything happens naturally and in a good pace, which makes it very believable. And actually, for a while, you start to feel for the characters and want to know how it goes for them. And the story changes halfway through, for good reason, and the ending is really good as well, with a nice twist, which you don't see coming, and sure, it leaves you with a few questions and ideas, and you want to know what happens, but it isn't really a cliffhanger, which is good, because I hate cliffhangers. So, for the whole game, you play as Monkey, and his weapon of choice is a staff, which you can probably see in the gameplay running in the background. Now, as a melee weapon, you can use both light and heavy attacks, but you can also stun and block enemies, but also evade. As a ranged weapon, you can stun enemies and also use plasma, which can both harm and kill enemies. It's a very simple combat. It's not hard really, but it has a few strategic elements to it. You can't just button mash. Because you must really think, okay, which enemy should I stun first, which one should I take out, is there anyone that's malfunctioning which I can take a use of, and so on. Just a little bit of mix there, which is make it too hard or too easy. Another game feature is that you're climbing from platform to platform a lot in this game. I personally have nothing against it, but it can get a little bit too much. So that's basically what you do. You have combat, we fight, and then you are climbing or platforming. But a few locations in the game, you are using a device called the Cloud, which is sort of a floater which you can use on land and on water. And you can navigate with that one and traverse the land with it. It's a really cool thing, but unfortunately it's not that often that you can use it, and also there's nothing more that you obtain any equipment or weapon after you get that one, which is really a shame, because you want more when you got that one. You're like, oh, what can it be next? And you're left with nothing, which is a disappointment, truly. Anyway, Trip, she has some more sort of gadgets at her disposal. She can, for instance, distract enemies using a decoy. She can heal Monkey via health vials, and also pull levers, and so can you, of course, to progress through the level. But most importantly, she can upgrade your weapons, health, and shield. Now, boss fights exist in this game, and they are sort of exciting actually when you're playing on hard, because you can easily die. But it's unfortunately, the whole game and the boss fights gets very repetitive, because, for instance, with a boss, when you know how to handle it, when you know how to damage the boss, you just do it over and over again. There's no variation there, so you never have to feel that you don't know what's gonna happen. You always know how to handle the situation later on. But anyway, the controls are kind of easy, it's not complicated, it's smooth, and for the most part it's responsive as well. And overall the gameplay is nothing special, but it's serviceable and gets the job done, and is put aside for the story and characters. Now, DLC Pix's Perfect 10 focuses on stealth and shooting, because you're playing as the third protagonist, which is Pixie, which is showing up pretty late in the main game. I'm not going to talk much about him except to say that he's an old friend of Trip, sort of, and always liked her, so there's kind of a little jealousy there. But anyway, he's a funny and great character, and this DLC really shows his true side, and you can see a prequel to the game, and it's a great story, really. And now, I played this game on Xbox 360 for a few years ago, and I mean, it looked nice. Wasn't that good graphics or, you know, visuals in general, but still, it looked great in a sort of way. And now on the PC side here on the port, there's only one benefit, and that's 60 frames per second instead of 30, but there's nothing else, no higher, even with high resolutions. They haven't done any improvements there, or textures, or shadows, or anti-analyzing, anything of those. And a main problem here as well is that you can't be in-game and change those settings. No, you have to go into the ini file on Windows to change it, to then make it appear in the game, which is a shame, because not a lot of developers do this, but when they do, it's always frustrating. Really drags you out of the experience and feel it, you know, you're not part of it. But anyway, the design is really good, well done, and it's just drags you into that into the experience, and it's a beautiful looking world which you can lose yourself into. And also, I must say that the voice acting is so well done by Andy Serkis and the female that's doing the voice for Trip. It's just really well done and really believable. They make the characters feel very alive, and the soundtrack as well, it just fits the game so well. It makes you want to be a part of it, and yes, this apocalyptic world, it just does such a good job at representing that. And the sound effects, well, they're decent enough, that's okay. So, in conclusion, Enslaved Odyssey to the West is about story and characters, and focuses also on atmosphere. Gameplay comes secondary, but it's a great game, and I personally enjoyed it. And if you can look past a few problems like camera issues sometimes, or the simplistic combat, or among other things, it's definitely a game worth buying on Steam. I think it costs €20 or something like that. It's very cheap on consoles as well, so that's why I give Enslaved Odyssey to the West an 8 out of 10. Well, that's for me, guys. Well, thanks again for watching, and be sure to check out my next video whenever that one comes out. So anyway, have a great day, guys, and I'll see you on my next video. DOWLord out.